Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your buddy, Dan, back with another video in this little series where I'm diving into the costume design of certain movies that I find to be pretty alright. And today we're going to be diving into the sci-fi action movie directed by Rian Johnson, Looper, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis, and Emily Blunt. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel if you like these types of videos. Give me a comment letting me know, and please share it with a friend, and that would be super great. So, without further ado, let's get on to Looper. So for the overview of Looper, it is set in the near future 2044. Joe, who is played by both Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis, is part of a crime organization. Joe is what's called a looper, which are specialized assassins that help kill people from the future through time travel, which has been outlawed. With each kill, the looper gets a certain amount of money, and when they are set to quote-unquote retire, they end up having to kill their future self. When Joe is ready to retire and close his loop, he is unable to kill himself, aka Bruce Willis. From then on, young Joe is now set out to kill his older self. At the same time, his boss, played by Jeff Daniels, is now trying to kill him. I just want to put a disclaimer that I will not be talking about details of the movie itself, but I may be showing scenes that spoil some of the movie for you, so please be advised if you haven't watched this movie already. So the costume designer for this movie was Sharon Davis, who was born on February 22nd, 1957. She has worked on movies such as Ray, The Pursuit of Happiness, Django Unchained, Westworld, and many more. So when doing Looper, it was a departure of her normal films and into the world of sci-fi, and with that, Davis was able to weave in the past, the present, and the future when creating the outfits for this movie. So Davis made small changes and accents to clothes to bring us into this future dystopia, such as red buttons on black coats, high stand collars for gunmen, and other pieces that we'll go through, and you'll see how she was able to take us on a little bit of a journey of what the future might hold. So like I said before, the movie was directed by Rian Johnson, and there's a huge element of time travel that helped Rian and Davis to play with a mixture of past, present, future clothing. And in my opinion, the movie has a great blend of modern clothing that has been revamped with the past and the future. In terms of severity, I would say that it is muted when it comes to the sci-fi futuristic element, but it's still there, and I think most of the wardrobe, if not all the wardrobe, is very wearable. And Rian Johnson said he didn't want an unrecognizable world, but rather something familiar with alterations to it. And you can kind of tell, even with the hairstyles of the loopers, they have this 80s banker type of feel, and it kind of gave off this sort of elitism with their hairstyles kind of being slicked back, and especially Joe, or young Joe, you see this kind of posturing, even with the hair. So Davis said that her design idea for the main population looks were a combination of the late 20s before the Great Depression and the party scene of the 1970s. And for the loopers, there was a fusion of the late 1940s and the 1960s. And we're going to take a look at Joe's looks, and I'm going to show you how she kind of blended these two decades together to make Joe. So when designing for Looper, Davis started with young Joe, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Joe has two outfits, his going out outfit and his killing outfit. Now for the going out outfit, it is an Eisenhower style kid leather jacket worn with high-waisted straight pants and collar shirts with these thin ties made of silk. Now, if you don't know what an Eisenhower jacket is, it was created in 1944 for Dwight D. Eisenhower. It is a waist-length jacket, roomy in the sleeves, so you can have these insulating layers underneath it because it was made for war. It is a notch collar, it has button front. The jacket that Joe wears has similar shoulders In my opinion, it is also waist length. There is no notch collar, and instead of a button front, it has a zipper. And in this one, it definitely looks a lot more slimmer, in my opinion. Now, the jacket is definitely a resemblance of the 1940s, and the shirt and tie combo, and even probably the high-waisted pants, is also reminiscent of the businessmen seen in the 60s. But I'll also say that the look of the shirt and tie combo kind of also brings a little bit of that 1980s banker vibe as well. I don't know if that was also kind of in her mind as well. Now, when Joe is working or killing, he has more of a blue-collar worker outfit, at least in my opinion, and it is this brown Carhartt-looking jacket with a faded black collar and matching like faded black welt pockets at the sides. And if there's only a couple scenes that you can tell, but there's like a brown flannel lining on the inside, and the jacket's also to his waist, and it looks more workwear inspired to me. And I actually like this piece the most, I think, out of a lot of the pieces in this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually got this vintage, because the cuff, or the lack of cuff, is very similar to some vintage Carhartt pieces I've seen before. I'll try to show a couple comparisons, but I think it's a great piece. I think the fade is very nice, and it kind of just shows these two different versions of Joe, one very sleek looking and the other very blue collar looking and kind of just scraping on by. You know, I think a lot of scenes he looks very disheveled in this workwear outfit, and it shows the progression of his character. Out of all of Joe's looks, I definitely like the workwear one a lot more. Personally, I'm not a suit and tie kind of guy or sleek looking kind of guy. I'm really into the more rugged looks now, and that workwear kind of vibe really resonated with me. But I really like how Davis took the 40s and 60s, combined them together to give this like retro but also futuristic kind of look. Now, for old Joe, played by Bruce Willis, he is wearing something similar to young Joe. According to one source, Bruce Willis is wearing a sheepskin leather jacket made by Hugo Boss. I haven't been able to confirm that with any other website. There was just one site that said that, and I tried looking into it, but I was unsuccessful, so take this with kind of a grain of salt. Now, with the brown leather jacket, he has underneath just a white t-shirt and 505 straight Levi's. Now, when you look at old Joe, he's basically a shell of his younger self. He is still wearing the leather jacket, but it's a lot more worn in, it's beat up looking. He's not wearing the shirt and tie anymore. He's dressed down to the t-shirt, and instead of the slacks, he's wearing a pair of Levi's or a pair of jeans. Now, details of the jacket that Bruce Willis is wearing. There are both chest and slant pockets, and there is some nice seam detailing on the sleeve that I really like. And personally, I really love the cuff of this jacket. I know it's very weird to like a cuff, but kind of has, the jacket itself has kind of a Barracuda feel to it. It's very reminiscent of that Barracuda jacket with the kind of the Mandarin collar, I guess you would call it, and that cuff where it kind of overlaps. I think they did a really nice job of mirroring young Joe, but altering his look, showing the contrast of the two. Now, besides the loopers, there are people called Gat Men, and these Gat Men wear these long black coats, these wide brim hats. They're dressed basically in all black or dark grays, and the coats were actually influenced by the 1800s Western dusters that were made of oil cotton, and the wide brim hats were actually a concept by Johnson. He wanted to give an element of the G-men from the 1930s, and if you don't know what those are, G-men were basically government men. It was a code name or a nickname for government men back in the 30s, and I definitely see a similar type of feel or look to that to the two. For the Gat Men, they're basically wearing a high stand collar jacket, and it looks very sleek, looks very futuristic, but still very wearable and toned down. It's not like something you would see in maybe Blade Runner or Ghost in the Shell. It's very muted, like I was talking about before. Now with the jackets, you have a couple of varieties of undershirts and button-ups underneath the jacket, and then most of them are wearing black straight pants on bottom and then boots. Now the main character, Kid Blue, has somewhat of a more dressier or nicer boot, and then I see other Gat Men wearing something that resembles some sort of duck boot. And there's two looks that I really liked from the Gat Men. One being the outfit that you only see for a few seconds, if that, with Kid Blue, where he's wearing a mandarin collared shirt underneath that is dark gray, like a charcoal gray. And I think the combination is really nice. Gives off a feel of future mixed with kind of present, kind of past, and there's something about it that just looks really nice. And I think the style of Kid Blue, the hairstyle looks nice, the boots that he wears, they complement the outfit. And then another Gat Man by the name of Jesse has a mock neck underneath his jacket, which I think is, again, a really nice look. Kind of gives off a futuristic vibe, like these men that have to lay the law down, basically. So those were Gat Men from 2044. Now there are scenes of Gat Men from 2077, which is where Bruce Willis is coming from, and their jackets have this ornate pattern on the front, and it's just gorgeous. The jacket just looks very formal, yet very wearable, and I would love to have something like that. So moving on to Emily Blunt's character, Sarah. She's basically straight from the 90s. She's basically the antithesis of the Gat Men and Young Joe's character, where she's rejected the futurism and has kind of just become a farmer. She's seen wearing flannels, the choice of tanks and fitted t-shirts that she has, and the cargo shorts, the pants, the boots. She gives off a very grunge style. There's something very cool about having that character because it's kind of like a curveball, and something about it just really resonated with me, and it was a good like change up stylistically, I think. Now for Abe, who is played by Jeff Daniels, besides the Gat Men, he's probably the most futuristic looking. He's seen wearing these like silk shawl jackets that have this off-center button, and he's also seen wearing these, I guess they're not jumpsuits, but they're like matching top, like button up and pants, and they're very silky looking. He definitely has some money, so he kind of gives off an affluent kind of vibe or look, and I would say his jackets and his outfits look the most futuristic to me. So now just for like some miscellaneous people that I liked, some pieces, there was this one quilted patchwork jacket that had these maroons, mustards, blues, and some pinks, and I just loved it. Looks like it's a collarless jacket. You don't even get to see the front of it, it's just the back, but the silhouette looked very cool. Then you see this guy with this classic 90s looking denim bomber jacket that I'm pretty sure I had a rendition of this when I was in like second grade, third grade, and it has either beige or off-white canvas sleeves or leather sleeves, and then the ribbing of the cuffs and the collar and waist. It just looks like a bomber jacket that you would have seen straight from the 90s. And then just another random outfit that I really loved was this man working on the school bus. He has these beige straight pants with a gray long sleeve, and then on top of that is this muted fern quilted vest, and something about it looked so clean to me, and it looked, again, kind of run down, but also somewhat futuristic. Like, again, I think they were very good at making a movie where it felt very familiar, but also unfamiliar at the same time. Now, in my opinion, I think Looper did a great job, and Sharon Davis did a great job of weaving and blending this idea of futurism and historical pieces and elements from the past, and making it look very cohesive and making it look very believable. But I think this was very interesting, seeing a movie where it took a very conservative approach. You didn't lose the feel of that futurism or that sci-fi effect. Well, that's gonna be all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. There was so much to talk about that I couldn't go so in depth without making this video about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, so I apologize. If you want me to go deeper into more movies, deeper into the close, let me know and I will make adjustments. If you liked this video, give it a like, comment which look was your favorite, and also let me know what movie you'd like me to review next. I definitely have a laundry list of movies, but give me your suggestions and I'll check them out if they're not on my list already. If you could also follow me on my social media, it is linked down below. It's DANVERHEY on Instagram. It's all linked in the description down below, as well as the articles that I read to prepare myself for making this video. So please, if you are interested at all in costume design, give it a look. But that's gonna be it from me, guys. Take care.